Happy New Year and welcome. This is the weekly Baseball Brew Crew Podcast. We are keeping baseball history alive, one craft beer at a time. Wherever you are, watching or listening, please give us a like and a follow. And if you love beer with your baseball, please tell a friend. Here is the lineup card for today. Let's do it. In the leadoff spot is our VP of Content Development of the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Angelo Trinidad. Welcome.
Happy Brew Year, Baseball Brew Crew Brewniverse. It is 2023, and we are back in the new year, and excited to be here with you guys tonight, as always, to talk about beer, talk about baseball, and just have a little bit of fun. Nice.
Thank you so much. Happy Brew Year, right? Happy Brew Year. I love that. Yeah. That is awesome.
That's even better than Happy New Year.
Dude, that's why he's the VP of Content Development, Daddy.
Yeah. Yep.
Next, he's the field correspondent and the senior research analyst of the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Kevin Lyon.
Well, something I know from my research, we may not be in New York City, but we're back in the New Year groove, Michael Mondragon.
I like that. I like that
one too.
Thank you, Space Ace.
Yes, that's right. Cheers to Ace Frehley.
And hitting third is the Goodwill Ambassador and the Sultan of Swig at the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Cowboy Jack Durango.
Well, this town has closed down way too early, but there's one thing to do. So crack open a craft beer and have a cold one with the Baseball Brew Crew. Happy Brew Year, Brewniverse. Let's get it going, Daddy.
Let him hear it. Yes. Yes.
Love it, Cowboy. You always bring the fire. I love this. Just the prep of you bringing a microphone out is.
I gotta have my working microphone. I got my shooting microphone and my working microphone, baby.
I always wonder, is it like Tai Chi in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Is that live?
It
is. I'll dub in some noise on that one. My name is Michael Mondragon. I'm your humble host for the festivities tonight. As is tradition on the show, we always bring a new and unique craft beer to review and enjoy. So let's find out what everyone is drinking tonight. Angelo, I'm going to start with you.
All right, so the beer I want to talk about this evening is one of my gifts, holiday gifts from Kevin Lyon. And this is the Nectar Hazy IPA by Homage Brewing. This is a hazy IPA with peacherine hops. So there's no IBU listed, 6.8% ABV. Again, you guys know hazies have been my thing this last year. And hazy, this one certainly is, as you can see in the picture there, very hazy, not clear, can't see through the glass. And sometimes those are the best hazies. So this is a good one. First time I've had a beer from Homage Brewing. So Kevin, thank you for gifting this to me. And the peacherine, I guess, is definitely prevalent within the beer. So very citrusy flavor. Yeah, it's definitely enjoyable. Comes in a short can. So again, what the kids call crushable these days at a 6.8.
Nice. And Kevin, you've actually been here. So this was earlier. This was at the end of the year, end of last year, right?
Yeah, I was there. I want to say November-ish. It's actually Michael's favorite brewery in LA, Highland Park Brewery, is literally a block away from Homage. And I actually ended up going back there on New Year's Day. Unfortunately, Highland Park was closed, and I was just looking. A lot of breweries are closed on New Year's Day in LA, but Homage was there and stopped by there. I got another beer for myself, which I may have on the show in a couple more weeks. But I went by there, had a nice rice lager, everything that I've had from Homage so far, including a Saison, Michael Mondragon.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
I very much enjoyed. And yeah, Saison's not my style.
Right.
I enjoyed the one I had there.
Well, that's awesome. And now hearing that again, and the proximity to Highland Park actually ties into my beer, but I'm going to hold that for now. Kevin, right. I'm going to go to you for your beer.
Well, speaking of styles that you normally don't have me drink on the show, this is called the PB&J Blonde. It's a blonde ale by Belching Beaver Brewery it says this was actually made in Oceanside.
Yeah.
And what I like here is it contains lactose too. So I'm going to read the description because I do enjoy it. So you get brew America's favorite peanut butter flavored milk stout, which I don't know if you've had it, Michael. You know, they're famous for their peanut butter stout.
Right.
So, you know, you can't make it without asking yourself, what's this missing? Jelly, of course. So PB&J Blonde balances notes of creamy smooth peanut butter with a fruity and bright grape flavor that reminds you you're never too damn old for the best damn sandwich around. Damn spelled D-A-M, of course, because it is the Beaver.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
And this is 5.5%. Like I said, with some lactose in there. And I don't see an IBU on here, but I actually got this in a beer trade with someone at a wrestling show.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, just before Christmas. I traded one of my St. Nickerdoodles from Unsung. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. I don't know if I'd ever try this otherwise. So it's good stuff.
How is it?
It's good. It actually does smell like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's pretty great.
How is it compared to the peanut butter stout?
I probably would still take it's more peanut buttery than jelly to me. So, but I love peanut butter stouts. I don't have that often, but that one I still would maybe take over this because it might be a little heavier too. Because blonde, I'm surprised I'm not done with this already.
That's cool. That's interesting. I definitely got to add this to my list to give it a go.
Yeah, you would enjoy this one for sure.
Yeah, when we first started getting into craft beers, my girlfriend and I we were working for craft beer events, so we always heard about Belching Beaver. We actually went down to that Oceanside one and just fell in love.
Vista too, right? I think they have a location in Vista.
Yeah,
Vista.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And they've definitely been expanding. And when we went down there, the thing to get was that peanut butter stout, and my girlfriend made she goes, oh, this would be great with like a scoop of vanilla ice cream. And I'm just like, I can imagine having, I don't know if this one would go well with a scoop of vanilla. I think that one would, but this one seems more like lighter and sweeter. So
yes, it's pretty easy drinking.
Yeah, so
I'm glad I have a second beer ready for the rest of the show. Just as kayfabe second beer.
Well, that's awesome. Well, definitely.
And also, what people might know Belching Beaver best for would be the Deftone beers. That's definitely what they're most known for. Is most likely.
They also had a Sublime beer.
No, that's actually AleSmith.
AleSmith had a Sublime beer, and then I'm thinking of the. Hazer's Gonna Haze
Hazer's Gonna Haze.
That's by these guys. Yeah, that's by Belching Beaver.
Yeah, that's a solid one. That's a solid one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Jack, tell us about this brewery.
Well, boys, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit here. I've spent probably the last 6 months cutting way back on my craft beer consumption. I'm doing it in an attempt to get my calorie intake down and just live a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. Now, the three of you can attest, and it's well documented that yours truly, the Sultan of Swig, loves him some craft beer. Mm-hmm. So I'm in quite the conundrum, boys. How do I enjoy a great craft beer without putting that sugar and alcohol into my body that I'm working so hard to keep out? Well, my friends, Best Day Brewing answered that question. Best Day brews non-alcoholic, delicious, full-bodied craft beer that can be enjoyed any time of the day and on any occasion. They are low-calorie, low sugar, and low carb, but they're still packed with great big flavors and even antioxidants and anti-inflammatory polyphenols. Whether you crack open their hazy IPA, their Kolsch, or their West Coast IPA, you'll enjoy that great craft beer taste that we have come to love without clogging your body up with unwanted toxins. Gentlemen, did you ever think that beer could be actually good for you? I sure didn't, but Best Day made that possible. So if you're tailgating, surfing, hiking, fishing, finishing up a hard workout, going on a road trip, or spending the day just hanging out, grilling up and throwing down on the barbecue, take the Valley of the Sun's favorite son's advice, reach for a Best Day Brewing non-alcoholic craft beer, and crush your craving for a craft beer in a healthy way.
Nice.
Nice.
So here's the funny part.
Yes.
I learned about this beer at the gym. Like, the gym has the TVs up.
Now, hold on, Jack. Jack, I have a question. Doesn't this gym have a bar?
Yes, my gym does have a bar.
Yes. All right. I'm sorry. Pull back the curtain.
Would you expect me to go to a regular gym? No, I have to have a bar. But they don't have a lot of craft beer on tap. So I'm up there and I'm on the treadmill and I'm just sweating. I'm hating my life because nobody likes the treadmill. And I'm watching the screen and this advertisement for Best Day comes up. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? So then I start doing the research and man, what a cool company. They give a lot back to the community. Hey, if you find it, grab one. It's I'm excited to dive into this world.
That is awesome. And yeah, you used to go up to the juice bar and order some IPAs. So it's like, so I don't put it past you, to not misunderstand the word bar. So
right.
Good for you, but good for you for taking your health back. And it is dry January, which actually was, I kind of found out about it when I pulled up this graphic.
Well, you did it. You did it last January, Michael, for the month of January. Did the dry stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing though.
Yeah. Now, Cowboy Jack, I got one question for you. When you go to this bar, do you order a drink and just smell it so you get the sensation? Because that's
so I thought when I joined the gym that I'd be utilizing the bar a lot more than I did, but if you go back through the archives of our show, you see the way I drink, and I'm having to put so much work in.
Right.
I just try to stay away from it as much as possible, but thanks to Best Day Brewing, you can make today your best day.
I just say that because I would hear a Legend of the Ultimate Warrior would get a cookie and just pick it up to his face and just go and take a gigantic whiff of it with his nose to get the sensation. Then he would just crumble the cookie up and throw it on the ground or something. Can you imagine
Dude, I used to do a bunch of shows with a guy that would take a cookie, put it in his mouth, chew it up, and then spit it out.
Wow.
Oh, wrestling.
That is crazy. That's funny. That's funny.
And that's dedication, though. That's going to keep it clean.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like your body's absorbing the sugar and calories from chewing it up, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Science, dude. Who knows?
Hey, I was going to say, warrior the better method. Smell and destroy.
That's it. Thank you for that. That was awesome. So my beer tonight is the Looking Forward Modern Pilsner by Everywhere, a microbrewery from Orange, California, in collaboration with one of my favorites, Highland Park Brewery. This is 5.5 ABV, no IBU. Looking Forward is a dry hopped modern pilsner brewed with Mosaic and new to us experimental hop Peacherine from Freestyle Hops. So
nice.
that the Homage Brewing had a Peacherine, and then look at this, they got Peacherine in this one. So this one's super good. I usually go towards an IPA rather than a Pilsner, but this one is so good. And two great breweries. If you ever can make it out to Everywhere Brewing, it's in Orange, California. What's it near?
I would say it's about 2 miles east of Angel Stadium in Anaheim.
Okay, that's perfect. I didn't know what landmark I should make.
That's the closest one I can give that people would know, because it's actually on the street Orangewood, where you actually can access the stadium, but it's 2 miles further east. Unfortunately, a little bit too far to walk over, but hey, I mean, you can take an Uber over. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
And I got this for Michael because I was like, it's not Pilsner, not my favorite style either, but when I saw it's the Highland Park and Everywhere, it's maybe the best new brewery that we encountered in 2022.
Easily,
I would say.
Easily. And definitely make it out there. And everything of theirs is amazing. They also have seltzers and some other experimental drinks. They have
rosettes. They have some other sweeter kind of stuff that, along with the IPA. So I'm I got a good mix. I'm feeling something different. Yeah,
it's perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you for that. Okay, so since it's a new year, we're going to take a look back and celebrate our beers of the year for 2022. Last year on our show, we actually had 200, just over 200 beers between the four of us.
Wow.
Not at one time, during 1 week, but during the full podcast year. So we have a lot to choose from here. And now we're going to come up with our top 3 of 2022. Angelo, I'm going to have you go first and announce yours.
All right. So this was a very interesting year for me from a craft beer standpoint. So obviously my palate has expanded so much thanks to you fine gentlemen here and your encouragement to try new things. And I really discovered my affinity for the hazy IPA. So no surprise at all, top 3 of my beers from 2022 were hazy IPAs. And there were a lot that didn't make this list that were hazies as well. So I wanted to give a couple honorable mentions. I had a Lounging Iguanas Pina Colada style hazy IPA that I really enjoyed. And I tried a beer that Kevin also had on Pints and Packs, which was the lemon shandy from that was brewed with the hot dog on a stick lemonade, which was really good. So, but my top 3 beers of the year, I'm going to start with number 3. From Love Lady Brewing Company in Henderson, Nevada, the Gas Station Sunset Blood Orange Hazy Double IPA. So as I was preparing my notes for today's show, this beer is no longer being produced by the brewery. So RIP to the Gas Station Sunset. This one was 7.3% ABV. The blood orange flavor was very prevalent within this beer, which was probably my favorite part of it. And then number 2 was a collaboration between Brewery Omegang and Thin Man Brewery, the Neon Boodles Tropical Raspberry Hazy IPA. This one is 6.8% ABV with 45 IBU. This isn't didn't drink or feel like a traditional hazy IPA. This one wasn't as hazy, kind of felt a little bit more like a Pilsner or a lager as opposed to a hazy IPA. However, the hints of raspberry were very strong in the beer, which I really enjoyed as well. And to round out my top 3 beers of the year, my number 1 beer of the year, we're going to go back to our live recording at Radiant Beer Company, Kevin's first home, where I had the Remind Me to Forget Hazy Double IPA. And boys, I got to tell you, there's just something that hits different about craft beer when it's ice cold right into a glass as opposed to from a can or a crowler or a bottle. And this one, I knew it with the very first sip that this was going to be my beer of the year for 2022. This one, 8% ABV. So if you guys go back to the video archive and watch the video from our live recording, my beer glass was significantly smaller than the other 3 gentlemen on this podcast because it was an 8%er. So this hazy double heavy on the stone fruit character, you'd be remiss to forget remembering to stop by and try this unforgettable release. Dripping with ripe mango, pineapple, and sherbet, hitting hard with big notes of peach skin and stone fruit nectar, brewed with bitterness from Nelson, Citra, and Cashmere hops. So Radiant Beer Company did it again. I think Radiant was also in my top 3 last year with the beer. So appreciate you guys and your partnership, and appreciate you guys making some great craft beer. So those are my 3 beers of the year for 2022.
Nice.
You're number 1. I had a few of those Remind Me to Forgets when I was out there with you guys, and it is a heck of a beer. It is a heck of a beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, super good, super hazy. It's a double, so it's so the filtration just makes that haziness just a little bit thicker. So loved it. I gifted this to a coworker as well for their birthday, and they enjoyed this one as well. So.
Oh, good. That's amazing. Great choices there. All right, Cowboy Jack, you're up.
So, starting at the bottom, this beer Saves Water Pale Ale by the Arizona Wilderness Brewing Company. And I've been to Wilderness a few times. Their food is outstanding. The atmosphere is outstanding. Just another great Arizona brewery. And the cool thing about this beer Saves Water, not only is it a great tasting, wonderful pale ale, They actually, buying that beer, they put water back into our ecosystem, which we're under a severe drought right now. So Arizona Wilderness, they put out a great beer and they do great things in the community. Now, number 2, made by Toppling Goliath, the Radiant Haze IPA. The minute I tasted this beer, I found my palate for craft beers. This beer, which, rest in peace, Radiant Haze, they're no longer making thanks to a lawsuit, but we won't go into that. But I gotta, man.
Excuse me, a cease and desist, sir.
Once lawyers are involved. Yeah, once lawyers are involved. But no, I mean, this is just the quintessential great juicy IPA that made me fall in love with craft beers. I mean, I wrote songs about this beer. I'm wearing the t-shirt. I mean, I'm a huge fan. And I thought I would never, ever, ever be able to top that beer until I cracked open the Early Grande by Wren House Brewing Company, which is another Arizona brewery. This juicy, hazy, just beautiful concoction of IPA. I never thought Radiant Haze would be outdone, and Wren House came out swinging and put it to bed. There's no question. The Early Grande, if you like IPAs, if you like hazies, if you like craft beer, check out the Early Grande and you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah, some great ones there. And so you have an Iowa beer sandwiched in between 2 Arizona breweries. So some great stuff there. And Wren House is amazing. And every time that I've gone to Arizona and gone there, it's almost like in a little house. I think it's off like 7th Street or 7th Avenue.
It's actually, I think it's right off Central, and what they did, they bought a house. It's a bungalow constructed in 1938, I believe, and they converted this house to their brewery. They brew in the garage, and the house portion, it's a small space, but that's their tap room. You go in there, it's a cool location. I mean, that area is beautiful. Trees downtown. It's a beautiful location, and man, it's just a cool experience to go there. And you can't go wrong with a cool experience when they make great beers like Wren House does.
Awesome. Great stuff.
And hey, man, Arizona's nipping at the heels of California. We're coming in hot with our beers and our breweries.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fantastic. That's great to hear. Kevin, you're up.
Get out of here, because look, my top 3 are all California breweries. All right, so you just I'll give you one of these. So I will give an honorable mention though to Toppling Goliath, because before I went through my beers, there was a beer called 18 Hours to Brooklyn made by Toppling Goliath and other half out of Brooklyn, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this has got to be on my list. And I went through the list and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about. I'm like, okay, I gotta refit you. I'm like, that just barely missed out. And I'll tell you how much I like number 3. Number 3 is called Intent to Swing by Topa Topa Brewery out of Ventura. Michael, do you remember what that can looked like?
Yeah, I had a baseball.
It looked like a baseball can.
Yeah,
and what it's made after is one of my least favorite moments in baseball history. But the beer is so good that it still made my number 3 this year. It's actually Topa Topa memorializes the fist pump heard around the world. That'd be the 1988, and I'm getting mad just even thinking about it. So Kirk Gibson throwing the pump when he hit that home run off of Dennis Eckersley in the 1988 World Series. You're going to see National Treasure Tommy Lasorda going crazy for it. Big moment. The Dodgers ended up winning the World Series that year. Blah, 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 blah. But regardless, it's an awesome IPA, and I don't even know if they even make it anymore. I just happened to stumble upon it, and it's an 8.1 double, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this beer is so good. And, obviously you're going to see I do have some baseball tying into my top 3 here. And number 2, my number 1 brewery, Michael's number 1 brewery, the mega powers, if you will, for us, came together, shook their hands, made this beer. Happens all the time, which is an awesome IPA that came out at Radiant, I believe, in October, I believe. That was unfortunately after we filmed our broadcast. This is a great solid IPA coming at 7.2, and you know, and it was a dance party for your mind and your mouth. And while this collab may not be one that actually happens all the time, it's one we certainly enjoyed making with Citra, Nelson Sauvin, and HBC 630 Hops, and Present Company, which is the name of the other beer that they made that got released in LA. So definitely want to give a shout out for that. Also, we got like the disco ball that was on there.
Yes, that's right.
And number one on my list, I don't know if I need to go into it again because Michael had it last week. I had it 3 weeks ago. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on Michael's list. This is the Crocs Ale that was made for a surprise birthday gift for Rob Croxell's 50th birthday. He's the head brewer and owner of El Segundo Brewing. So he played minor league baseball one year, and they got his card as the cover for the beer and made it a 9.14% IPA because his ERA is 9.14. Brilliant.
We need to get him on the show. I think we need to get him on the show.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
You hear that? If you're watching out there, Rob, you have your people call my people.
We're not going to reach out to you first. You have to reach out to us first.
Well, you know, I feel like I'm the bigger celebrity here. You know what I mean? Like,
did you make a beer, Stone Cold Steve Austin?
What?
No, I didn't.
Angelo, thank you.
Well done.
Even better time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so here are my beers of the year. I'm going to start with the Metaplex IPA from Unsung Brewing. This is actually Kevin. When he's not going to Radiant, he's going to Unsung. Actually, if you take a right, you go to Radiant. If you take a left, you go to Unsung from Kevin's house.
No, the other way around. It's a right. Depending on which way you're heading, though.
Gotcha.
Regardless, one is a little bit west of me, and the other one is further east of me. But they're like a mile.
Unsung is fantastic. I remember when we went there probably around summertime, and something might have been
like a month ago.
a month ago. But I'm saying to get these beers, we got the Metaplex, and we got another one that was like a New Zealand hopped beer that was fantastic. But the Metaplex, amazing. Definitely check out Unsung Brewing. The Crocs Ale, just like Kevin just talked about, that is my number 2 baseball themed beer. Had to put a baseball themed beer in there. And then my number 1 is actually, and it's the only triple IPA on this list, the 1-2 Skip a Few 99 100 triple IPA from Radiant Beer Company. Radiant was so good to us this year, and we got, thanks to Kevin, we got to definitely be influenced. They influenced the judges big time. with their great beers. Also, I mean, I was remiss because in that area is also like Green Cheek, Noble, which used to be a big favorite of ours.
Hey, Monkish. Yeah,
Monkish. Oh my gosh. And then we had what was the Fight Club one that was fantastic though. But I didn't have it on the show though. I think you had it on the show.
Oh, the Water Balloon Fight Club.
Water Balloon Fight Club is really what it was called. Yeah, so Monkish is great.
Real quick, and I'll tell you, this is actually the 100th beer that Radiant made. And I don't know where this video is. I think it's on the Instagram. There's a video of Cowboy Jack chugging that beer.
Oh, that's right.
And maybe we need to find that and put it on the YouTube.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Jack, Jack, you actually remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No. Why do you think I backed off on drinking so much beer, dude?
I saw them send this to me, and this is like a 10.3% or something like that. And Jack's like, there's a video of Jack chugging it, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know why I watch this.
Well, yeah, you sent 2 of them to me, and I chugged the first one on video, I believe, and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is one that we have to sip. Yeah. Yeah. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
The kids say that the triple IPAs are not crushable.
They're not.
They're not. They're definitely not crushable. It is definitely one to savor and take your time with.
Yes.
The 1-2 Skip a Few is she's a mean mistress.
Yes.
My kind of mistress.
But all great beers. We look forward to a great 2023. Being more adventurous. I'm actually going to go outside of my comfort level and try to find some other ones. But yeah, this has been awesome. Great list from everyone. Thank you so much for participating this year. Looking forward to a great 2023 of beer as well.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
All right, so let's do it. This is this day in baseball history for January 3rd. Yes, baseball history occurred in January on the 3rd, if you can believe it. January 3rd, 1920, the public becomes aware of a secret deal made on December 26, 1919, to sell Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees for $125,000, equaling twice the amount ever paid previously for a player. Harry Frazee, the Boston Red Sox cash-strapped owner, also secures a $300,000 loan from the Yankees as part of a deal. Who knew that you could do that? Obviously, 1920. Now, when was the stock market crash?
That wasn't until 27.
So 27. So this is all in he was having financial trouble even before this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even about that. And the depression, was soon after this as well, right?
I mean, Michael, I could just guess that Frazee Pate was having a hard time because that's who he is, right?
I have no
idea. I'm just throwing that out there.
It might be for all I know, but Frazee Pate still is still around today. So maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That hashtag do the research, right?
Yeah.
So that was 1920. That was $125,000 in 1920, correct?
Yeah.
So it's going to sound huge to us, but put in context today's money in baseball, that's $1.8 million in today's money.
Wow.
Yeah. And what was this gentleman's name? Frazee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Harry Frazee. Yes.
Harry Frazee. Okay. So Nicholas Frazee was the Commodore of the San Diego Yacht Club, and his family is so I don't think this guy has anything to do with it.
Okay. I just was making a joke, but
womp womp.
I was like, you're gonna be the only person who knows what Frazee Pate is, probably,
But that's how
Sherwin Williams still carries it today.
There you go. Cover the world. January 3rd, 1943, in a surprising move, Uncle Sam decides to draft 37-year-old Yankee right-hander Red Ruffing into the Army, where he will be assigned to a non-combative duty, tossing baseballs and leading the soldiers' physical fitness training. What? The future Hall of Famer lost 4 toes on his left foot in a mining accident in Colton, Illinois, as a 15-year-old. I don't know what that has to do with the story, but it is actually in my notes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Lost 4 toes and he's
4
a Hall
toes.
of Famer.
Yes.
See, Kevin, there's still hope for you, bro.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
What wasn't it a thing if you had fallen arches, you could get out of military service? Well, this guy lost 4 toes. It didn't help him at all.
Still got drafted, brother. You're all right. You're good enough to throw a ball. You're fine.
Yeah.
You still got 6 good ones.
And I think they relaxed the rules a little bit in the mid 40s. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. My goodness.
Which is funny because we've talked about briefly, I'm sure at certain points over the years of doing this show, but it's just like, man, you look at the quality of baseball during World War II, it's just,
right.
It's almost like, like replacement players, pretty much. Everyone's serving. A lot of great players, Hall of Famers are serving, doing their duty for their country. Yes,
Kevin,
sir.
how did you escape the draft for World War II?
I'm not talking about that.
Kayfabe.
I think the statute of limitations is well past.
Fallen arches.
Fallen arches.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe the story has to do with the moonshine and polio.
Angelo, you didn't get the Iggy.
Not in that order.
Sorry. My bad. Rely, pal.
All right. This one, I believe, will one day be a hazy history because it's a very good one. Frank Trader Lane becomes the Athletics general manager and executive vice president. The former Cleveland general manager, best remembered by Indians fans for the last season's controversial trade of Rocky Colavito to the Tigers in exchange for Harvey Keene, a swap that will give rise to the Calavito curse, believed to bring a series of unfortunate events to the Indians over many decades. The Guardians, then known as the Cleveland Indians, have played in 3 World Series, losing 3 times to the Atlanta Braves in 6 games in 95, the Marlins 7 games in 97, and the Chicago Cubs 7 games in 2016. Cleveland had not won a World Series since 1948 when they won against the Boston Braves in 6 games. So if you look at all the list of the Calavito curse, it's pretty extensive and it's pretty crazy, actually.
All right.
No, I'm definitely going to have to look into this. And it looks like the Calaviti curse was broken in 1989 in famed baseball documentary Major League.
Did they win the World Series, Jack?
I think they just won that playoff series, if I'm not
They just won the playoff series.
They won a game. Then I think then they in part 2, I think did they make the ALCS, the World Series? I don't know. Then they just leave it at that. It's like
it's forever etched in the annals of history. So
the first documentary is all you really need to watch. You don't need to watch the second or third.
I've watched that third documentary is wonderful.
It's okay.
Where Roger Dorn bought the Indians, right? Is that what happened?
Right.
What happened? I don't know.
History.
All right.
History. Very hazy.
So January 3rd, 1974, the Yankees hire Bill Verdon as the team's manager after American League president Joe Cronin voids the contract signed by athletic skipper Dick Williams. The former Pirate skipper will manage New York for 2 years, never winning a game at Yankee Stadium because the club will play their home games at Shea Stadium while renovations occur at the Bronx ballpark. And you can see he's at Shea Stadium in this picture.
And isn't it nice that friend of the show, Ed Brown, was actually managing the New York Yankees?
Yeah, I was just going to say,
it really
that is Mr. Excitement's carbon copy. A little less muscular, but definitely a close relative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should. I was
going to ask, that is Shea for sure. That's great.
Yeah, that's and you can tell it. obviously Shea Stadium, but I didn't know that he managed during that time, and then he was super successful with the
Pirates.
With the, Pirates, because he was actually, I think he took over for Danny Murtaugh after those successful seasons. When he was the World Series or the World Champion years. Yeah.
In the early 70s, they had a really great run there.
Yep.
Did Danny Murtaugh ever utter the words, "I'm too old for this stuff"?
Oh, I don't know. I think that's who's the one who said that? Oh no, it was
Roger Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you.
You threw me for.
They can't. Yeah, they can't all be winners, guys. Sorry.
It's all right.
I'll do better next time.
No, it's okay. I was just like, where are you going?
Was good. That was good though.
You're right.
January 3rd. 1977, joining Harry Carey. Oh boy, let me back up on that one. Woof. Joining Harry Carey, Jimmy Pearsall, and Lorne Brown in the Chicago White Sox broadcast booth, Mary Shane becomes the first female announcer to do play-by-play for a Major League Baseball team on a regular basis. The contract of the hard worker and pioneer but inexperienced broadcaster will not be renewed at the end of the season by owner Bill Veeck. I wasn't aware of this, and was this so? Nancy Faust would have been.
Nancy Faust definitely there, and this seems like such a Bill Veeck move.
Yes,
because he'd be the one to try to get if I get publicity, let me just see if I can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was a carny.
Oh yeah, absolutely, he was a carny.
Yeah,
great carny. I mean, we talked about before on Hazy History. We may have to bring it to this show. This Disco Demolition Night was done by the White Sox as well.
Yes, and
the same time period.
And let's see, what else did they do? Oh, they had the spacemen that come out for Luis Aparicio. They were always about the stunts. Yeah, that was awesome. And so here is the first female announcer to do play-by-play for a major league team. And I wish I didn't see any footage on this, but it would be kind of amazing to at least see that groundbreaking history.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead.
So today, in as we stand in 2023, are there any female announcers in Major League Baseball?
Yes. In fact, last year there was an all-female broadcast.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then there's also there's women play-by-play, but there's also the PA announcers for the I think it's for the San Francisco Giants. And there's another one too that it's on the top of my head, tip of my tongue, but I can't remember who. But yeah, so that women are definitely, and then also like the for the Marlins, I believe that's a high ranking position in the front office. So women
I think it's the GM.
Yeah,
I think it's actually the GM.
Right.
And I first heard of her through she worked with a friend of the show and a guy we're going to be talking to very soon, Shane Barclay from Japan Ball.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't remember the woman's name off the top of my head, but
I want to say it's Eng, NG.
NG is her last name. I'm spacing on her first name at the moment. I have to ask her to do the research.
Yep. All right. So here we go. A date that will live in infamy. January 3rd, 2005, hoping to make the team appeal to a broader marketplace. The Angels announced the franchise will now be known as the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Look at Kevin's like, he totally left.
Guys, I get what they're trying to do here, but why not just say the Anaheim Angels or the Los Angeles Angels? If you're saying the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, I'm out.
Well, just like you and everybody else said exactly the same thing. Officials from Anaheim likely will file a lawsuit to block the change, believing the new name violates the terms of the team's 33-year lease with the city. Oh my gosh! Like
33 years,
and now
a contract.
And now they're just known as the Los Angeles Angels. I mean, it's never not been controversial. And for anybody who lives in LA is not Orange County, and Angelo and Kevin live in Orange County. Is that LA?
So. Anaheim is seriously from Angel Stadium to like downtown Anaheim. It's got to be like 25, 30 miles. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a pretty good amount of space. You know, I'm trying to think. It's like, I would think it'd almost be as far to go from Oakland Stadium to the San Francisco Stadium. I think it'd probably be. I think that's even a closer distance. Yeah. And yet they're differentiated by their cities. You know what I mean?
Right. And then so like I think we talked about this on a previous show. But remember, Kevin, when I said I drove down the 5 freeway?
Yes, sir.
And I was going north.
Yes.
And I saw that sign.
Oh, please, because I didn't. This is a brand new sign, and I don't know if did I mention it on the show last week?
I think you might have.
There's a sign at the exit to go to Disneyland. If you're on the north side of the 5 freeway, I have to look to see where it might be up as one on the south side. It says Tommy Lasorda, Dodger legend, Memorial Freeway, and it's in Anaheim.
It's right by Disneyland almost.
It's the exit, Harbor Boulevard, where you would go to Disneyland if you're heading north from the San Diego, South Orange County area. And I'm just like, what is this doing here in Orange County? And mind you, he lived in Fullerton for decades. He lived in Fullerton, California, which is in Orange County, way closer to me in Anaheim than LA. But I'm just going, why would you not have this in LA?
The fact that it says Dodger legend, it seems like a practical joke.
It does. Like Michael mentioned to me, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I drive by it like 5 days a week, and I never saw the going, this must be a new sign. Also, I saw, I'm like, what is this? I want to take a photo of it. I'm like, I can't unless I'm in the passenger seat. You know what I mean?
It just goes to show you the city planners, they don't have it figured out just like us, guys. They're just normal people.
Exactly.
That tells you how big the Angels are in Anaheim. If there's a Dodger legend who has a freeway named after him in Anaheim, that tells you how much the Dodgers are bigger than the Angels in their own town.
Oh my. So that is this day in baseball history for January 3rd. All right. So this is a fun segment that we have introduced last year to the Baseball Brew Crew podcast. It is Hazy History, and the subject for the Hazy History this month is Robin Ventura versus Nolan Ryan. Who wants to take it away?
But I would love to do the honors because, this is a subject that's been covered a lot over time. But, I'm excited to talk about the real, true American hero in this situation. That is Robin Ventura.
Ooh.
Now, would any of you expected me to say that going in here?
No.
Cowboy Jack may know a little bit more than I, but Cowboy Jack, 2 weeks ago, would you have been like, Kevin, what are you talking about?
I would have thought you had too many hazies, baby.
Well, you know what? I am having too many hazies, but that's besides the point. So I wanted to start off by talking about a great American hero, Robin Ventura. And sure, we can talk about his MLB career, but I want to talk about first what led to that and why he's an American hero. So he played at Oklahoma State University, and he was actually an amazing, amazing player. He actually, in 3 seasons, his career batting average in 3 seasons, 428. Imagine that. No one can even bat 400 in Major League Baseball nowadays. And that's a career record. And he was also record holder in hits, runs, second in the program for like doubles, home runs, et cetera, et cetera. And so I want to talk about in his second season, he actually did something that you would not believe. He actually passed Joe DiMaggio. And Michael, do you have the footage that you could show, please?
I do.
2-2 to Robin Ventura. Hit hard to right field. Going over as the right field couldn't play it. Rumsey. On the third goes Diaz. And Robin Ventura is now hit in 57 straight games to keep the record hitting streak alive and go past that magical number of Joe DiMaggio of 56.
There's a look at the swing. Short, compact. Rumsey cuts it off. But these left-hand hitters from Oklahoma State are going to give Ingram a little tougher time this third time around.
So I wanted to show that, and he actually ended up getting one more game in the hitting streak and being 58 games, which is still the college record. And I believe there's maybe like a guy in like Division I-A or AA or something that got 60 games, but don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Robin Ventura. And so he did that, and they actually made it to the World Series that year in college. Unfortunately, lost to Stanford. And what's funny is that a guy he would have played against is a future teammate of his named not Cowboy Jack McDowell, but just Jack McDowell. Blackjack McDowell. I think
Blackjack McDowell.
Yes, Blackjack McDowell. And so then he ended up playing 3 years. He actually played as a junior. He led the team to 61 wins. And Oklahoma State was a pretty great team in the 80s. Yep. 61 wins in the regular season. They didn't make the World Series in the end. But in that year, he actually won what would be called the Golden Spikes Award, which is the best amateur baseball player award. And what a new award that came out, I think 87, is the Dick Hauser Trophy. Dick Hauser was a former manager of Major League Baseball who passed away of brain cancer, I believe, in 87. And so this is like the Heisman Trophy for college baseball. So he won both those awards. So that tells you, like, this guy is an incredible player. And I'm going to get more to that later. And the other thing he did, and this is why he's an American hero, Cowboy Jack Durango and Angelo Trinidad, Michael Mondragon, he went and played for his country and won a gold medal in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, South Korea. So I want to definitely give a cheers and a props to him.
Cheers.
Yes. Absolutely. And I believe still it wasn't an official sport in Major League Baseball. Baseball is not an official sport in the Summer Olympics yet. But hey, no one knows it's a demonstrational sport.
Right.
Who cares? No one knows that except for me mentioning it.
That's why we call it hazy. That's why we call it hazy.
That's why we call it hazy. And so one thing that was kind of surprising is he got drafted as a junior by the White Sox. And I'm guessing it has to be because he's a junior. He ended up being the 10th pick. And they probably were thinking, like, are we going to be able to get this guy? Because, does he want to play his 4th year? And it turned out they went back and they actually signed him in the offseason. And this is why I wanted to take note of this, too. I kind of just love this. So after the annual Olympics, he met with the White Sox, and he signed with the White Sox after only 2.5 hours of negotiations. From Robin Ventura, this is what he said back in that time period. And this is an interview from his parents' house. I don't want to break the bank. I had an idea in mind. I didn't want to go any higher than that. And I think it was like, I think his first year in Major League Baseball was like $100,000, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And what I love too, and like I said, he was a junior, and I love this part. Ventura acted without an agent, and he and the White Sox agreed not to discuss the terms, but he said that he and his family negotiated with the White Sox in a car dealership in Santa Maria where his parents lived. And I just like, what? And, you know, and that was, like I said, he was the number 1 draft pick for the White Sox, 10th overall that year. And they wanted him to go immediately to minor leagues. He's like, no way. I'm going to play for my country. And he won the gold medal. And even said, and he's back in the day, it's like, it's the best thing I ever did in sports.
Wow, that's interesting.
I think that's an old quote, but I bet from the time period when he first talked to them, because I remember he was already accomplished so much in college. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he said, it's not whether I did good or bad, but that I won the gold medal with 19 other guys. So,
wow,
he took that he did a very important thing. And you figure he's a junior in college. He's got to be 21, 22 years old that time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, he wouldn't discuss what he got signed for, but he said it was enough to make me happy. So I'm like, you know, that's a really cool thing. I just like that little nugget before I talk briefly about his pro career. So he actually played as a player from 1989 all the way to 2004, 2-time All-Star, 6 Gold Gloves. Unfortunately, he had some injuries that really end up debilitating him towards the end of his career. Here's a fun one, Cowboy Jack. He's 5th all-time in Grand Slam home runs.
Really?
Yes. Now, do you have any idea who is number 1 on that list?
Number 1 on that list?
And I will give you a hint. He was on the tournament. He was in the tournament. He didn't make it, but he was in the tournament for the Diamond Icons. Michael Mondragon is nodding his head. He thinks
he's nodding his head. Oh, Morgana the Kissing Bandit.
I don't know. I think he's right. Quite frankly,
you know what? He is extremely close because it does involve kissing.
Yes, it does. It does. Yes, it does.
So come on, Jack. Come on, Jack.
Angelo.
Alex Rodriguez.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Himself. You know,
nailed it.
Baskets.
That's isn't that Derek Jeter? Never mind.
Why we call it hazy, baby?
Exactly. So Robin Ventura had 18 Grand Slams before he hit 2 in one game. He also is the only person to hit one in both games a doubleheader. So in a doubleheader, he hit a Grand Slam in each of the 2 games. Only player ever to do that. And nowadays, you hardly ever even get doubleheader. So who knows that'll ever happen again?
Right.
But you know what, Michael? Let's talk about his most famous Grand Slam.
Yes.
Or you want to give the background on this? You know more. You might be the best one to talk about this.
Yeah. So it was in 1999, and it was
already.
Yeah, it was. I remember this year because I if I'm not mistaken, it was. I think they played the Cardinals before this, and I remember. I think it was Mike Hampton who was super dominant for the Mets that year and just shut down the Cardinals. Sure. But this is the year there was the Subway Series. If I'm, or that's 2000. Sorry.
No, it's not because you're going to show us the clip here. But I will note they did not win this series.
That's right. So let's play the clip. This is when we talk about Grand Slams, he hit one, but it didn't count as a Grand Slam. So here we go.
How about this? 2 nights in a row, the Braves were so close to going to the World Series. 2-1 delivery. Robin Ventura, the Mets win 4-3. There will be a Game 6.
They just playing Mojo Rising?
Well, hold on. Hey, we'll get to there in a minute. So what happened there, Michael? Why don't you explain what happened there?
So basically, he all he needed was like a single, a fly ball, anything to score the run from third, and he hit a home run. Well, he rounded first, and they didn't let him complete the bases. So essentially, instead of a walk-off grand slam, which he's known for, it's a or actually it was a single, and a 3-run single.
Yeah, grand slam single. And here you go, Cowboy Jack is actually in my notes. So the 1990 Mets are making a run in the playoffs. So Robin Ventura took the phrase "Mojo Rising" from the Doors song "LA Woman" and made it the rally cry for the Mets that year.
Wow.
Yes. And he actually met Jim Morrison's widow when the Mets invited her to a game just before the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
When you're at the Mojo Rising. So that's like, yeah, I laughed that I actually found that little nugget and you had to catch that. Now I'm like, that's a great little thing. That the Mojo Rising was their call in 1999. Didn't get the World Series, but a good playoff run regardless.
That is awesome.
And so I'm sorry I'm going a long time, Rob Ventura, but I like to just talk about a guy who I feel life might have been ruined in some ways by what we're going to talk about later.
Right.
But, after his playing career, he got to actually manage the White Sox, which he played most of his career for 5 years. Unfortunately, he only had one winning season in the first year he managed them. But I want to just make this end going full circle and make it a nice thing going back to Oklahoma State. In January 2020, Ventura returned to Oklahoma State to complete his degree because, remember, he left as a junior and served as a student assistant coach for the baseball team. And the manager of Oklahoma State University is a guy named Josh Holliday. Michael, does that last name ring a bell to you at all?
It does. Is that Matt Holliday's
Brother? Yes.
Oh, it's his brother. Oh,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Matt Holliday's brother's name is Josh Holliday. Their dad, I think, coached at Oklahoma State, and several years ago, Josh, after playing, never made the major leagues, but he did play a little bit of minor league ball and played at Oklahoma State, took over the team and managed them. And then here's where it gets better, Michael, and I don't think you know this. Matt actually joined the staff as the outfield and hitting coach in 2020. But after the 2022 season, Matt left the Oklahoma State and he went back to the Cardinals as their bench coach. I thought
I happen to, you brought it all back. I happen to remember that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I want to close out by just giving his other big college accolades. At the end of it, he was named the third best player in college baseball in the 20th century.
Wow.
That tells you something right there. Number 2, which is great because it's another guy from Oklahoma State, is a guy named Pete Incaviglia, who I think we might have talked about briefly on the show before. And the number 1 best college player of the 20th century is Bob Horner from what university, Cowboy Jack?
Arizona State University.
That's right. Great job, Cowboy Jack.
And Incaviglia was from Oklahoma State as well, correct?
That's what I was saying. Yes, that's why yes. Yeah, I think he was like 2 or 3 years ahead of Robin, because he would have been in the major leagues he would have got drafted 84, 85.
Yeah.
So, and also I do want to mention that Robin is also a charter member, the first year member of the National College Baseball Hall of Fame in 2006, which leads me to another guy who was in that same Hall of Fame class, a guy that we love here, and another guy on the Diamond Icon ballot, Dave Winfield.
All right.
Now, why do I bring up Dave Winfield here in this situation?
Did Dave Winfield have any drama with Mr. Ventura?
No, but he is actually the only other player to charge at Nolan Ryan. Michael Mondragon, can you go to that clip, please?
You got it.
Did challenge Ryan. In fact, 13 years before to the day. Having to wear a brown uniform must have been upsetting enough to Dave Winfield, but getting a whisker pitch from Ryan set him off.
After he took a punch at me, and I realized that, if he'd have connected, he could have really hurt me. So I took the attitude, if anybody else comes out there, I'm not going to be passive about it, because they're coming out with the intent to hurt you, and so you have to protect yourself.
So there's that little nugget. I'm going to give you what Winfield's point of view was, since we got what Ryan said there. So, and this is 1980. And did you hear that, Cowboy Jack? 13 years to the day before the famous Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura incident, which that's crazy in and of itself. So this is Dave's last year as a Padre too. He would have signed with the Yankees that offseason, and Nolan Ryan was obviously pitching for Houston. So as Winfield remembers it, Ryan had already brushed him back twice in that game with inside pitches.
Oof.
So yeah, when it happened the third time, Winfield headed for the mound, and this is a quote from Winnie. The catcher, Luis Pujols, tried to stop me, so I stiff-armed him, and he went down. The umpire got in the way, and I grabbed him and moved him. I got to Nolan and took a big swing, and the next thing I know, we were on the bottom of a big pile trying to get little punches in. As you saw kind of there. It kind of broke away before we saw whatever mayhem went off. And and you know what happened in that, Cowboy Jack? Who do you think got in trouble?
If I had to guess, it was probably Dave Winfield.
Dave Winfield got ejected from that game, and Nolan Ryan was able to just keep pitching.
Boo.
That's a little foreshadowing as well, right?
Maybe. I wouldn't have thought when we do the research how much I was going to be able to just weave everything together.
Yes.
So, Cowboy Jack, why don't you just throw you this softball?
So the seeds of the incident that we're discussing tonight were planted in 1990 in Sarasota, Florida, and those seeds grew for 3 years before finally exploding on August 4th, 1993 in Arlington, Texas. During a spring training game against the Texas Rangers, the White Sox middle infielder Craig Grebeck, who made up for his shorter than MLB average height of 5'7" with the attitude of a monster, popped a home run on the first pitch of the game, and he jogged the bases, celebrating, pumping his fists triumphantly, and whooping it up. This little celebration drew the ire of a very stoic 44-year-old Texas gunslinger sitting on the Rangers bench.
Wait. You're telling me that Nolan was sitting on the bench and got mad?
Nolan was
the one pitching.
Nolan's so angry he gets mad on the bench. On October 10th, 1990, the Rangers faced down the White Sox in Comiskey Park. Nolan Ryan was on the mound, and he threw what he thought would be an easy strike, only to have the man at bat, the aforementioned Mr. Craig Grebeck himself, hit his first MLB four-bagger.
Oh, wow.
Understandably, Grebeck was a bit excited. He's new to the league. He just popped a home run off one of the best pitchers of all time. So what did he do? He jogged the bases. He pumped his fists. He celebrated, and he whooped it up. Needless to say, this did not sit well with old 34, and quite frankly pissed off the cantankerous cattle ranching Ryan Express. Let's just say he took that personally.
Cowboy Jack?
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Did I remember right that either Craig or either the batter before him or batter after him, Ozzie Gant, also hit a home run off Nolan Ryan that day?
I believe it was the batter after him.
So so Grebeck hit the first one, then the next batter hit a home run too. That might have agitated Nolan too, I think, a little bit.
So I think it was the excessive celebration.
Yes.
Now, after the game, this is why I know for a fact it was the excessive celebration. After the game, Nolan Ryan had a conversation with Rangers pitching coach Tom House, saying that Grebeck looked to be about 12 years old, and then he darkly stated, and I quote, "Well, I'm going to put some age on that little squirt. He's swinging like he isn't afraid of me."
Oh, no.
Now, gentlemen, there is nothing wrong with having a competitive nature. Hell, being a fierce competitor is what takes somebody from the high school dugout to the show. But there is a difference between being a fierce competitor and being a vindictive, mean-spirited jerk. And in my humble opinion, what happens next has no place in Major League Ball. 1 week later, the Sox took it on the road to face the Rangers in Arlington, Texas. And when Grebeck, whose locker room was always located between Frank Thomas and Bo Jackson's locker, had the name on the team of the Little Hurt because he was only 5'7". So the Little Hurt steps up to plate against Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan remembered not only the spring training excitement, but the first major league home run celebration. He reached down to his heels and he threw some Texas heat straight into Little Hurt's ribs. Nolan meant to send a message, and send a message he did. Grebeck was left with a broken rib from this little display of poor sportsmanship. Speculation has been made that the White Sox style of play is what led Nolan Ryan to wage this one-man beanball war against the black and white. Sox batters were instructed to cover the outside third of the plate and even dive towards the plate to cover the outside corner, causing them to be in the way of what Nolan Ryan believed to be his half of the plate. Nolan Ryan's somewhat self-important view was that half of home plate belonged to him and half belonged to the batter. Batters didn't get to know what half of the plate Ryan considered to be his, but if a batter took away what he considered to be his half, he was going to make them pay. Whatever the message Nolan Ryan was trying to send kicked off 3 seasons of continual friction between the Texas Rangers and the Chicago White Sox that culminated in the Sox placing a bounty. This is an unspoken locker room bounty on the head of Nolan Ryan.
Ooh.
That bounty goes, the omerta, the code of silence. If he hits a batter with a ball, no matter what, that batter needs to rush the mound and make that man pay. That bounty, that omerta, that locker room deal gave us one of baseball's most chaotic on-field brawls.
Yeah, Cowboy Jack, before you go on the incident, let me just add, too, that this is 1993. Nowadays, the White Sox and the Rangers do not play each other nearly as much as they did. They play much less now than they did back in the 90s, because at this time period, they were in the same division. There was still only the AL West, the AL East, the NL West, and the NL East. So the White Sox and the Rangers were divisional rivals, and they're not anymore. I just want to give that context to see why this might be a little more heated than you would think it would be normally.
Right.
Yeah. No, they faced each other a lot, and from 1990 up until 1993, it was a very, very heated rivalry. So 32,312 fans gathered in the Arlington, Texas stadium on August 4th, 1993. On the heels of an 11-6 shellacking at the hands of the White Sox, the Rangers faced down the boys from Chicago's South Side. In the top of the third inning, with Chicago ahead 2-0, our new Olympic hero, Robin Ventura, settled into his batting stance, facing down Nolan Ryan. Ventura, no doubt, was remembering being beaned by Ryan 2 years prior in 1991. When the pitch came, it wasn't a low and away fastball, which was the go-to pitch of the time. It was a pitch directly aimed at Robin Ventura, a pitch aimed at sending a message. The pitch hit Ventura squarely in the back. Now, gentlemen, by using the highest scientific technology available to me and my superior mathematical equations and abilities, I've deduced that ball struck Ventura's back approximately 25 inches away from the side of home plate.
Oh my God.
Taking into consideration that the batter's box is 6 inches away from the side of home plate, that pitch was 19 inches into the batter's box. He wasn't throwing a pitch, boys. He was trying to hurt this man. So Ventura gets hit right directly in the back. He takes 3 steps towards first base, and he decided the beanball war needed to end. He dropped his bat, he threw off his helmet, and he charged Nolan Ryan. Now, inexplicably, for reasons only known to Ventura, he made a rookie mistake upon his approach, and instead of going straight for him like old D. Winnie did, he slowed his approach. He didn't charge as fast as he started, and he dropped his head, giving Nolan Ryan a perfect opportunity to snatch a headlock and get some shots in. Nolan Ryan was able to tee off on Ventura with 5 shots to the top of the head, with his 6th and last hit, an uppercut-style punch landing directly in Ventura's face before the benches cleared and the field turned into a literal battle royale. Ventura only lasted 22 seconds in the 2-minute and 4-second brawl before being pulled out and forced to watch the melee from the outskirts. Nolan, on the other hand, he was caught in the middle of the two teams clashing, and he was pushed to the bottom of the pile, swallowed by a mass of humanity for 51 seconds. Ventura stood on the outside of the fracas watching the pandemonium, and according to Nolan Ryan, he was being trampled, he couldn't breathe, and he thought his time on this earth was done. But 2 big muscular arms like Christmas hams, belonging to none other than Mr. Bo Jackson, pulled Nolan Ryan out of the dog pile. He was throwing bodies off of him and pulled brother out. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say pandemonium, I mean pandemonium. Rangers coach Mickey Hatcher sustained a cut above his right eye. White Sox manager Judo Gene Lamont did his best Stone Cold Steve Austin impression, shaking his head from side to side, talking trash, and attacking any man in a Rangers uniform within arm's reach. The Texas Rangers backup catcher shockingly bit Mr. Bo Jackson on the forearm.
Oh,
he
God.
bit Bo Jackson on the forearm.
Do we know if this was before or after he pulled Nolan out of the
This was after Nolan had been pulled out of the fight.
All right, thank you.
Nolan gets pulled out and more fight happens.
Okay.
So when the umpires were finally able to break up the madness and separate the teams, the decision was made to eject Robin Ventura and Gene Lamont, but much to the chagrin of anyone that holds fast that professional baseball should be played with class and sportsmanship, Nolan Ryan was allowed to stay in the game. The umpires let him stay in the game on the pretext of self-defense, although he intentionally hit a batter and then threw the first punch. Footage of the fight is available all over YouTube, and we're going to watch it right after I'm done talking. But I encourage everybody within the sound of my voice to study this video, not only for the visual spectacle, but listen to the crowd's reaction. As previously stated, the 32,312 people in attendance sounded more like 500,000. As the crowd cheered and chanted the name of their hometown boy when they realized that the Ryan Express was going to stay in the game. They already witnessed one. Now, I think that the umpires had seen enough brawling for one night, and they were most likely worried that any action against the middle-aged, narcissistic jackass Nolan Ryan would result in a full-scale riot in Arlington Stadium. Disco Machine Michael Mondragon, cue the tape.
Here's Ventura, RBI single in the first. Watch out. Look at this. Took exception to the pitch. And one after Nolan Ryan.
ensue. Start things back up right here. And there's Lamont. And here we go again. I cannot see who is in the middle. Bo is in there. If somebody drags out. Doug Manzolino. Jeff Schwartz.
Boy, Mickey Hatcher's got a pretty good cut over his right eye, as you can see right there. Boy, this thing's getting ugly out. Got to get these two teams back to their benches.
Oh my gosh.
Now, gentlemen, this incident is one of baseball's most polarizing fights, and it has been discussed for nigh 30 years at the point of this recording, with each side firmly believing they are correct. Chicago White Sox player, 3-time All-Star, and American League Cy Young Award winner Blackjack McDowell insisted that Ryan was culpable, and he was pleased that Ryan Ventura charged him. He is quoted as saying, Ryan had been throwing at batters forever, and no one ever had the guts to do anything about it. Someone had to do it. Ryan pulled that stuff wherever he goes. Now, known war criminal and former U.S. President George W. Bush proclaimed in the Dallas Daily News, "Remember the Alamo. I saw Nolan square away like a bull, and I thought that this guy Ventura has lost his senses." It was a fantastic moment for the Rangers and elevated Nolan Ryan's legend.
Yeah. May I add that I saw a George Bush mention that said he was so amped up because, remember, he was a part owner of the Rangers through this time span. I want to make sure that's mentioned too, why he would have been here for this game. He said, I was so amped up, I was thinking of rushing the field myself. He said that, and I'm like, yeah, okay. He said, until I saw Bo Jackson, then I stopped myself. I'm like, that didn't stop Gino Petrelli. I believe that is the backup catcher because I saw Petrelli. Yeah. I'm like, I bet
Gino Petrelli is the one that bit Bo Jackson's wrist.
I saw backup catcher. I knew it had to be in when I saw that Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. Another guy, it seemed like he was really antagonizing. He started the second melee there.
Yeah. Yep. So now with the dust settled and the hindsight of video replays, I believe that it's safe to say that taking a 5-ounce ball with a cork and rubber core with yarn tightly wound around it, then snugly sewn into a leather pouch, throwing it at 90 miles per hour, which, boys, packs the same amount of kinetic energy as a .22 caliber bullet fired from a target pistol at another human being during a professional baseball game is at the very least mean-spirited and at most should be considered assault. It's reprehensible, it's dishonorable, and it's disgraceful. So, the deplorable baseball bum of the month is number 34, the Ryan Express, Mr. Nolan Ryan himself.
Cheers, Cowboy Jack. Cheers to you on that. I have to do this. I want to know Angelo and Michael's thoughts about this. I'm sure you've read or seen about this. Angelo, do you have a different take now after hearing Cowboy Jack and my version of this?
Well, yeah, I think it's very easy to go back and at surface level, think about and see that and know that what Ryan did was wrong, but he was always portrayed as a hero, right? And for his accolades on the baseball field, but this has truly shifted my point of view and perspective on Nolan Ryan. And, just like we strapped the rocket on the old back of Lars Nootbaar back in May of 2021, this young blue chipper from Oklahoma State University, Robin Ventura, is the biggest babyface in this story.
Big time. No, and
Hey. Can I say one thing? The number 2 babyface, and I saw him in the brawl, Cowboy Jack Durango. You know who it is, right?
Frank Thomas?
The Little Hurt.
The Little Hurt. Yes. Yes.
He's scrappy.
I was like so excited when I saw his name on the back.
No,
of the jersey.
it's so sad because Ventura was such a great athlete and such a humble player that this tarnished his legacy in baseball so much that this is what he's known for instead of being such a great ambassador for the sport.
Yeah, the fact that he approached the fight in the manner that he did shows that he didn't do that often, right? No. But if you can go back to the photo of him having Ventura in the headlock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at Nolan Ryan's middle knuckle.
Yeah. He's hitting him with the CC star knuckle, bro. That's
this old man scrapped a time or two.
Yeah.
Yes.
This young spry Robin Ventura was not ready and prepared for that. So again, completely changed my perspective and point of view. Thank you to Kevin Lyon and Cowboy Jack for an amazing hazy history. And let's be clear. There's one thing clearly not hazy about this story, and that's who's the heel and who's the baby face.
Yeah.
Which you never would have thought that till you met Cowboy Jack and Kevin. We'll twist it up. We'll twist the heat around.
Yeah. And this is the heroic pose that we always see, the iconic picture of Nolan Ryan. And you can tell that Robin Ventura was a bit of a fish out of water where he's like, I made this commitment to do this. And he's the one that got hit. And much like the Zapruder film, like the way the breakdown of this is like insane. So kudos to you guys for going this far in depth. Again, Robin Ventura, is he on the ballot of the Diamond Icons? I think
I think he just earned his spot. I think he just earned his spot.
I will definitely put him in there. So
I hope so because I want to be a Mojo Rising.
I love it. Well, to end this out, I'm going to have a quote that I'd like to use whenever we do these hazy histories. There are 8 million stories in baseball's naked city. This has been one of them. So if you don't know that quote, I highly recommend that you #do the research. All right. So that is the Baseball Brew Crew podcast for tonight. Angelo, did you want to plug your Rip and Review for Saturday?
Yeah, so absolutely. So coming up this Saturday, much like every Saturday, I'm going to have a brand new edition of Kevin
Rip and Review with Angelo Trinidad.
And this week is no different. So we'll have a brand new episode posted to our YouTube channel, premieres live every Saturday. So go ahead and stay tuned for that. And we'll be having a live Rip and Review on this podcast here coming up soon as well. So go back into the archives, take a look at the videos that we posted over the holidays. We posted a special video on Christmas Day where I opened up the Christmas gift that I got from the guys from Stay Classy Sports Cards and Bryce and the team over there. Go back New Year's Eve, and I opened up a If Sports Card holiday stocking stuffer. A friend of the show, Ian and Nikki, congratulations on the huge announcement as they'll be welcoming their first child. So Rip and Review, thank you guys for the support. Let's keep it going. Like those videos and comment what you guys think and what you'd like to see me open.
Awesome. And this is where you can find us on all of our social media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Guys, any last words before we sign off for this week?
Well, it's the first show of 2023, and we're going to make it a fantastic year. Stay tuned.
Love it. Love it. Awesome.
I got nothing to add. Let's just close this out. Let's go home.
All right, let's do it. All right, we'll see you next week with another Baseball Brew Crew podcast. Good night, everyone. Take care.